Summa Negativa is the third full-length album from Morone, Argentina-based post-metal, post-black metal / dissonant or avant-garde black metal band Psicosfera. And it's a lot of qualifiers for a band you've probably never heard of. And I think because they originated in a style that was very much an instrumental post-metal band on the aggressive side, and one that was influenced by black gaze music and atmospheric black metal from the start, but who eventually, on their second album, got a little bit more notice through avant-garde music, the label, and put out a record that was much more influenced by atmospheric and dissonant black metal. Now, this was still very much a post-black metal band before this album, and what has changed is that they've onboarded a vocalist who is very expressive in his style, able to tell a bit more of a story, and the result is an album that is very different from the first two. Now, there was always a little bit of a sound that I compared to like more recent Deathspell Omega records or Magua in their work, but this is something that's a little bit more confrontational with its dissonance. It's something that tells a little bit more of an emotional story throughout, and you might get a sense of that in this first clip that we cut to, just to get a sense of what this band sounds like with vocals. And if you've heard the band before, this will all be very new for the most part. Now, vocalist Julian Reggie is an impressive feature on this record in terms of quickly having adapted to the style of this band, and obviously they've had some practice in where they insert his phrasing and his expressive vocabulary in general, and that means that we get a little bit of a depressive black metal wail to some of these parts, and we get a little bit more of a straightforward diction in some of it, but for the most part this is a bit over the top, and I like that about it because it gives this band much more personality than I felt they'd had in the past. I think that the addition of the vocals also gives them a sense of direction and a descent into a nihil, which is kind of the theme of this record, is taking stock of the dissolution of a person, and it is a very depressive and a dark record that pretty much posits oblivion as much as it can and as darkly as it can. So there's a lot of impressive technical feats buried in this record, but it's still going to appeal to someone who's interested in avant-garde or dissonant black metal. I think that you'll see the dissolution of the album tonally as it starts out quite melodic and expressive and bursting in on the first track, but that's really meant to be a tragedian note that leads us into something much darker by the middle point of the album, where we start to hear like Penderecki-esque scratches against the wall, and just a more dismal performance in terms of expressing both hostile and negative emotions as we descend through this album. So it's a bit of a ride. It's not that complicated to take in. I don't think it was so taxing because it was fairly short in terms of not being like an hour. And as an introduction to this band, it's a pretty big and impressive shift in style and sound to have taken in just a number of years. So I feel like this is kind of an instant just add singer kind of moment for this band, where it turns out they're pretty impressive when they've got a vocalist taking charge of things, and it all works really well for me. I was very happy to premiere the album. I was excited about it no matter what, and it's just an impressive band that kind of came out of nowhere for me. So we're checking out. This has released last weekend, so it's out now. You can hear the whole thing, and go ahead and read my review to get more of my notes and my thoughts on where they were coming from and how I'd responded to the record.